This video is essentially going to touch on 6 things that you can do if you're feeling anxious about whether or not he likes you. Before I get into the content, I want to explain what it means to have a regulated nervous system. A regulated nervous system doesn't necessarily mean that you don't feel negative emotions ever. What it means is that when these negative emotions come up, you have a set of tools that you can use in order to better process these feelings. It's impossible for you to never experience a negative feeling again for the rest of your life unless you are already dead. It's important to thank our body for producing whatever we consider to be negative, because all of the feelings that come up for us are essentially cues based on what our physical vessel or our body is experiencing. When you are in an anxious or hyperactive state, what you want to do is you want to calm your body. The first tool that I'm going to address is breathing deeply while humming. So when you breathe in, you want to make sure you're breathing into your stomach. Then you're going to exhale with a V sound. Like you're literally going to want to sound like a freaking moose. So if that feels good to do, you're gonna wanna do it several times. Another breathing technique that you can practice is you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 7 seconds, and then you exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Both of these breathing techniques are gonna help you calm your body down. Another technique that you can do when you're feeling anxious is take your right hand and basically put it underneath your left armpit, and then take your left hand and put it over your right arm. Hold yourself. Literally, that's all we're doing. Like, I'm doing it now and it's calming me so much. This type of technique is going to help you kind of trick your body into thinking that you're receiving a hug, even if you are literally on your own in that moment. The next technique that I want you to consider is a mindset shift. Know that sometimes the thought of having this one guy can really be exciting to us. So if you're ever in a moment where you're like, oh, it would be so nice to hear from him. I really, really want to be with him. And also just throw into that thought, it would be so nice to hear from him or someone better. Because you're over here thinking that this man is amazing, but it's totally possible that the man of your dreams is wealthier than him, more generous than him, more attuned to your needs than him, more communicative than him. It's totally possible that the man of your dreams, the man who you're going to spend most of your life with, is even better than this one man who you're ruminating over. That is completely possible. And when I tell you to raise your standards, I don't mean it in a way to make you feel like you're not asking for enough. What I do mean is there's a version of you who is really super duper happy about the relationship that she's in, and she feels really safe and really supported and really adored, and it's so easy to be in that romantic relationship. When you raise your standards, it's a lot easier to attract that type of dynamic because they're not going to expect you to overgive. They're not going to expect you to show up in ways that feel bad to you. It's going to be easy and it's going to feel natural. And maybe so that these types of dynamics can show up, you need to have a new natural and you need to adopt a new normal, and you need to shift and grow in ways that you never thought you would. But this new version of you has less anxiety, has less insecurities. She takes up space when she enters the room. She's magnetic. She's wealthy. She's beautiful. She knows she's beautiful because you're beautiful now. And it's totally possible that you just can't conceptualize how beautiful it is that you are. I also want to point out that women and men are different. Women tend to bond when you're sharing time together, when you're in each other's presence, and men tend to bond when you're not around, when they're missing you, when they're wondering what you're doing and who you're with. That's how men tend to bond. So the question that you need to ask is the amount of distance that this specific man requires in order for him to bond to a woman congruent with the amount of connection that I need in order to bond with a man. And this is not a question that you need to make judgments around. This is literally just a question that you can ask yourself so that you can have more awareness around the dynamic of this specific connection that you have. Another question that you can ask yourself is he not doing enough, Or am I not creating an environment within myself so that I can feel safe in a romantic relationship? Because he can text you every day and it can still not be enough for you. And that takes me to my next point, which is have and develop a rich inner world. Because if you're constantly just waiting around for this man to text you, it's never gonna feel like enough. It doesn't matter how much he texts you, how much he communicates, how much he shows up. But if your world and your life is centered around this one man and how he shows up and how much he exists within your 3D, then it's never gonna be enough. You need to be the center of your world. And this can look like taking yourself on a date. This can look like literally going to some random public space, sitting down with a journal and writing a poem about some stranger just to really channel your creativity. When I say have and develop a rich inner world, it literally is synonymous with learn how to nurture your creative essence or creator energy. The next point, and this does take me back to one of the points I made earlier around women bonding through connection and proximity and men bonding through distance, is have boundaries around how much this man can access you. He shouldn't be texting you at 2 a.m, at random hours of the day or night, and expecting an immediate response. At that time, you're pouring into you. You're pouring into your dreams. You're pouring into this rich inner life that you're developing. You're pouring into your communication skills. You're pouring into your social mobility skills. Like, there is so much that you can be nurturing within you. There's no need for a man to take you out of your zen, to take you out of your focus on you whenever he wants. So have designated hours for when you're getting notifications. And the last point is create community with women who are in happy relationships. A lot of you guys are taking advice from people who don't know how to date, from people who have never seen healthy relationships, from people who center men, from people who don't have a rich inner life. And that is why you are imitating these patterns. You are the average sum of the 5 people closest to you. So if these 5 people don't have the type of relationship that you could envision yourself having, or they don't approach the world in a way that would allow that type of relationship to come to them, then it's not going to come for you. If you're ever feeling anxious, instead of running to your immediate friends, consider dropping a message in the community board on this app so that you can hear from people who are aligned with what you want.